I know we're technically a little early, but I will just keep admitting people as you hop on. But I wanted to share the replay link every day within an hour of the end of the Zoom call. The video will be uploaded to that link. That link also includes a link to download the workbook. And it also includes the link for the style session. Nancy, looking beautiful. Includes the link to the style session. So everything, like all the information that you need, is going to kind of be in that place. I'm going to try to find a way to put the homework up there as well. But thank you for those of you who bared with me this morning. I think I told you guys it was weather related. That was my understanding, was that it was weather related because I was getting all sorts of weather alerts. But no, what actually happened is that they decided that they would come and just unplug our internet to test it during my call. Yeah, so fun, so enjoyable. So yeah, I was like, you've got to be kidding. Who unplugs internet smack in the middle of the day? Like, really to test it? So they kicked me off the call. So anyway, this is the link for you guys to get the replays, the workbook, all of the things. But we're going to talk about something fun, because this is, for those of you who were on the call earlier, this is kind of a repeat, but I never say the same thing the same way twice. So there'll be a little bit of a different spin on it. But I do want to talk about the importance of love and fun when it comes to style, because at the end of the day, and at the end of all of this, what all of this distills down to, and all of the fancy terminology we're using, and all of the archetypes and all of the stuff that I'm talking about, all comes down to, what do you personally love? What do you love? What do you love? And giving yourself permission in this stage of your life, in whatever flexibility you may or may not have with your style. Like you may be in a season of life where you can completely dress for yourself, or you may only be able to dress for yourself a couple of days a week. But whatever your lifestyle looks like right now, how can you infuse more love into what you're actually wearing every single day? Because wearing what you love leads to joy and leads to confidence. And who doesn't need more of both in their wardrobes? Like, I need everybody, and in their lives. Everybody needs more joy. Everybody needs more confidence. Everybody wants to feel better about how they appear every single day. And truly, when you feel most like yourself is when you're going to feel the most confident. When you feel most like yourself is when you're going to feel the most confident. And so this is why the cookie cutter approach, wearing what everybody else is wearing, having a checklist of the same clothes that everybody else is wearing, doesn't work for most of us. Because unless that's your aesthetic, and unless you have the same lifestyle and the same personal style as the person who made the list, you're going to feel like something is off of that list. I will tell you, for a long time, all of the clothes on all of those lists were beige. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but beige is not my best color. And Karen, not your best color, Karen Cutler. I'm looking at all the brunettes on there, right? Irene, Sarah, like we are not beige people. So it's not a one size fits all when you see lists of the, and all of the lists have black and beige. Usually people look good in one or the other, not both. Usually you look better in black and not as good in beige, or better in beige and not as good in black. But all of those minimalist, the 12 pieces that you should own to have a perfect wardrobe lists are all speaking to one person. They're speaking to a 25-year-old living in a city who still looks good in all the colors, or is going to compensate in makeup somehow, and who lives a specific lifestyle, who has a specific body type, usually tall and very slim. All of those clothes are talking to all talking to the same woman. All of those lists are talking to the same woman. So when we go and we buy those pieces, and we attempt to put on those pieces, and we put together those outfits with those pieces, because we can all do simple outfit formulas, right? Like everybody can say, okay, I'll put this and this and this, and that'll equal the outfit that I see on Pinterest or on Instagram. And you put it on and you feel off. You feel off. You're like, something isn't working. Something isn't working. I don't feel like I don't look the way that I want to look in this outfit. So that's because when you put clothes on you, You're the variable. You're the variable, right? Like you can't just put an outfit and have it look the exact same on every single woman who wears it. That isn't the way it works. That isn't the way it works. So we're always going to take you into account. So you're always going to take your physical design into account, but you're also going to take your love and your preferences and your passion into account, like what you actually love. And this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to lead to a wardrobe that isn't cookie cutter, but looks true to you. I want by the end of this process, I want to be able to, and I'm already doing this with some of the ladies in my style program. Like Debbie, if I see a Debbie dress, Debbie's not Jeffrey, but if I see a Debbie dress, we were talking about how our names are not all the names that are on the screen. If I see a Debbie dress, I recognize it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that dress looks so Debbie. Like I can just see Debbie in that dress, right? I want your style to be so clear and so defined and so, you know, obvious to all of the rest of us that I can spot an Irene dress, I can spot a Linda dress, I can spot a Sarah blouse or whatever. Like I want to be able to see you in an item of clothing. And so you want to be able to see you in an item of clothing. So you want to be able to find things that truly speak to you. And that's really what the whole archetypes system looks at. Now we've all heard of, oh, I've got boho style, I've got classic style, I've got this style, I've got that style. Most women are a little bit eclectic. Raise your hand if you feel like you're a little bit eclectic in your style. Okay, so you maybe don't feel like you fit in specifically one style box. Well, yeah, I'm classic, but I also like some boho pieces, or I've got natural style, but I also like minimal. Most of us are a little bit of a combination, and those combinations are what is going to make Karen's brand of whatever classic style look very different than Debbie's brand of classic style. It's going to be what differentiates you. And again, at the end of the day, we want to see something and for that something to just feel so much like you. So I've done a video in the past about how there are really only two style personalities. I know you didn't know that there was going to be a pop quiz, but there's a pop quiz. Can anybody remember what the two style personalities are? If you heard them earlier, you have an advantage. You can share them in the comments if you think about it. I'm just going to wait here awkwardly till anybody remember? Classic and creative. Yes, you guys are paying attention. Yes, classic and creative. So let's break those apart a little. And then I'm going to hang the style archetypes kind of loosely under one of those two categories, right? So classic means that you're a rule follower, usually. You like to match rather than mix. You generally like simplicity and clean lines. And you like, you like a timeless appeal to your wardrobe. One of the women I was talking to on the one of the calls today said, and I need to watch this TED Talk and I'll share it. She said she saw a TED Talk about, and essentially this is a great way to define classic versus creative. Classic ladies like to look nice, but they don't like to jump out at people. Creative ladies don't mind jumping out and even wearing something maybe a little quirky, a little unexpected, where people are like, oh, that's an interesting choice. Like they don't mind that so much, right? So there are two different personalities at play here and two different style expressions. So classic style in general, you like to match your surroundings. You like to match your surroundings. You like to dress appropriately for where you're going. You like to follow the rules. You like things to match. Now, creative style personalities, and I want you to tell me, what's the Zoom password? I'm sorry, I don't think that there is a Zoom password, but wait, here it is. It's 861526. I'll put it in the comments. I think some older computers somebody told me that last week, require a Zoom password. There it is in the comments. So if someone's having a hard time getting on, yes, please share that with them. Thank you so much. Okay, so if you're looking at your breaking down your style into two categories, I want to know, first of all, who considers themselves classic and who considers considers themselves creative. Couldn't get that out. Put classic or creative. Let me know what you are. Creative types are, okay, so we've got quite a few. Yes, there's a creative there. Okay, mostly classic. Carol, nice to see you. Classic, classic. Okay. Creative style personalities are rule breakers, want to be more creative, feeling kind of schizophrenic. Okay, so you might have a blend of both, and many of you are going to have a blend of both. Many of you are going to have a blend of both, and it's fine. As a personal stylist, I can often feel schizophrenic because I appreciate all types of style. That doesn't mean that they're all for me. And so we're going to get to that in a second. So 0% classic. Oh, did you mean 80% classic, 20% creative? Both. Okay, awesome. Classic, but with a twist. I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot. Like classic, but you'll have some fun, right? Like you'll take a couple of chances. So on the continuum of classic to creative, where do you fall on that continuum? Because it's not like I'm all classic or I'm all creative. Most of us are somewhere along that line, right? Sometimes I see creative outfits and I'm like, wow, that's out there even for me. So everybody falls at a different spot on that line. It's not going to look the same for everybody. You take a risk every once in a while. I love it. Okay, so again, creative are the rule breakers. They like to mix a lot of times rather than match. They like to express their own personal style, even if it doesn't necessarily align with whatever anyone else is doing. And they often show up dressed in a little bit of an offbeat way for their surroundings. Like when I worked in an office, which granted, it was a fashion office, but some people dressed very corporate-y, and I would be the one who would show up in a hot pink suit. And everyone else is in neutrals, and I'm the hot pink suit girl, right? Or I would do something, and it's so funny, my boss, who was, he was a dad, and he was just so funny, and he kind of always took me under his wing, and he was like, always looking forward to seeing what getup, the word that he used, you'll be wearing every day. So I was 24, 25. I took lots of risk with my style. I was always experimenting. I was always coming in something theatrical. I always had adventures, like that was my an extension of my creative style. So 75% classic, 25% feminine creative. I love feminine creative. I love that. Classic 70, creative 30. So I want you to think about, where do I like to bend the rules? And where do I like to follow the rules? I'll tell you one of the places I'm definitely a rule follower in. I'm a rule follower when it comes to weddings and funerals. I feel like traditional events like that, I feel like there's a place for bending the rules, and those are not the place. It's not my wedding and it's not my funeral. So I will always go appropriately dressed to those situations. Then there are other places where I feel like there's more flexibility for self-expression and more room for self-expression. Okay, so a little boho or natural style can be classic. It can be creative. It's your expression of natural style. Like you can do like an interesting eclectic mix, and boho often falls more on the creative side, but there are, yes, it's good manners. I agree, Irene. But there's also a classic version of boho style where you're maybe like an Eileen Fisher. That's more of a relaxed, natural look. But it's on the classic side. It's not boho like mix and match and throwing a bunch of different elements together. So there's a different, there are different expressions of boho style. Okay, so we talked about classic versus creative. And, one of the things that I want to get you to start paying attention to is when you put something on and it doesn't feel right. And it doesn't feel right. I think it's very, very important. I'm going to preface this by saying, if you're trying on clothes and your hair and makeup are messy and you're not feeling good and your stomach is poochy and your nail polish is chipped, whatever, any of the things that make you feel not less than cute, if you're trying on clothes and you're in that frame of mind, push the pause button and go back to it later. If you're always in that frame of mind, I want you to book a style session with me, because I will be very, very happy to tell you how beautiful you are, so that you can look in the mirror and speak kindly to yourself, because I think that that's really critical. But it's important to make a little bit of an effort when we're going to look at ourselves in a mirror and evaluate an outfit, because none of us are going to get past like crazy hair or greasy skin or whatever it is that we don't like the way that we look in. Like if we don't If we don't check those boxes, we're going to be distracted by those, and it's going to reflect on the outfit, whether it has anything to do with the outfit. So check that box first. And then I want you to look in the mirror, and I want you to pay attention to your body language and your posture when you're trying something on. Because that's going to tell you whether that's going to be an item that you're going to bring into your closet and wear, or bring into your closet and feel guilty about. Like, pay attention. If your shoulders droop or you make this face when you're looking at it, you know, chances are it's not for you. It's not something that you're loving. You don't feel good in it. You don't feel beautiful in it. You don't feel like yourself in it. And so you want to pay attention to that feeling before you leave the store. That's you with Prince. Very good. That's good to know about yourself, Doris. So this is the thing, though. There's a small caveat here, because there always is an exception to every rule. I want to know who's a hot shopper and who's a cold shopper here. I want you to write hot or cold. Now, if you don't know what that means, hot shopper means you have to talk yourself out of buying things you like, all the things, you never have a problem shopping. And cold shopper means you don't really enjoy shopping and you only shop when you have to. Hot shopper, hot shopper. Okay. So if you're a cold shopper, cold forced me to the mall. Yeah. Okay. So if you're a cold shopper, you may have to give yourself a moment with that item to decide. If you're a hot shopper, you need to pay attention to those signals even more, because you have dumbed down or dulled down those signals. I know, because I'm a hot shopper. You have stopped listening to that inner voice that tells you you don't need that thing. You've ignored it so long that it stopped talking to you sometimes. You got to give yourself a minute. You've got to give yourself a minute and give yourself slightly warm. Okay. So you got to give yourself a minute to make that determination of whether that item really deserves a place in your closet. If you're still on the fence, leave it at the store. Because how much I am willing to bet $1 million that there are things in your closet that you already own that you're on the fence about. You don't need more on the fence items in your closet. What you need are more items that you cannot wait to wear, that you're like, I wonder if I can put this on tomorrow. Like, I can't, you know, if it works for the next day and you don't want to wear it the next day, that could be a red flag right there for you. That could be a red flag right there for you. Like, why are you not reaching for that item? Why are you not reaching for that item? So be really intentional about your shopping and ask yourself and check in with yourself about how you feel about an item. I don't care if that item checks a box that you think you have in your wardrobe or fills a hole, unless it's, you know, unless you're going around naked. And if you're going around naked again, I'm going to share the link. You can sign up for a style session with me and we'll get you some clothes right away. But since most of us have clothes to wear, but if you're like, I literally have no pants and I only have tops and I'm walking around in tops and underwear, then yeah, you need a pair of pants. But otherwise, you can wait. You can wait until you find the item that suits you and that works for you. Okay, if you find something that really fits, you tend to buy it, but not wear it once you have it. Okay, because you're not looking at just fit and you're not looking at just flattery. You're looking at how you feel in the item. You're looking at how you feel in the item. Like, do you feel like yourself? Do you feel beautiful in the item? And then, do you have a place in your life to actually wear it? I feel beautiful in a lot of cocktail dresses, but I only get to wear cocktail dresses 5 times a week. So unfortunately, I've got to limit my cocktail dress consumption, right? Like, we can feel beautiful in something and it can just not work for our lifestyle. I also feel beautiful in dramatic coats with wide faux fur collars, but I live in Florida. So I have to limit. I tried on a stunning one. It was plaid. It was just beautiful. And I was like, I want this coat so badly, but I already have a couple of coats and I live in Florida, right? So there's a number of factors. Your fit, lifestyle, geography. But the factor that many of us are not taking into account is, do you love the item and do you feel good in the item? And that's the one I really want us to focus on today. Yay, had nothing, you had no clothes. Awesome. Okay, so if you have no clothes, it's great to start somewhere and really start asking yourself, like, what am I reaching for? What am I loving of the couple of items I have? And I brought these items you bring new items into your closet. Ask yourself, why am I wearing them? Why am I not wearing them? And tags stay on until you wear the item. And don't make me come over there and return things for you, because I will. I will come over and grab the stuff from you and return them. Because if you're not wearing the items, that's wasted time and money, and wasted space and money and mental clutter. And there's guilt associated with buying stuff that we don't wear. Who has bought stuff that they don't wear? Raise your hand. Anybody bought anything that they don't wear? Yeah. Yeah. Karen's like, yeah. So if you've bought stuff that you don't wear, that stuff should go back to the store. If you're not wearing it, if you're not reaching for it, you don't love it. You've got other stuff in your closet you don't love, just wear those instead, right? Like, it doesn't have to be something new. Okay, so what I want to encourage you all to do when you're going through the style archetypes is to really, is it archetypes or archetypes? I don't know. Is to really ask yourself to answer the questions the way that you feel right now. I want you to disregard how you dress at 20 or 30 or 40. Chances are you're going to look back and you're going to see a common thread. My style, I've said this before, my style's always been feminine. It's always been feminine, but the way that I've expressed my femininity in my style has looked different. It looked different at 20 than it did at 40, than it does now at 54. Part of that is trends, and part of that is my style evolving and the fact that I'm older. You return a lot of items because you can't always decide in a moment. It's so good to really love it. Yeah, you really, really, really want to love the pieces that you're bringing home. Again, if you're not naked, leave them at the store unless you love them. So give yourself permission to answer those questions for how you feel, and ask yourself, how do I want to dress now? If someone were to come up to Jody, besides saying, Jody, your hair is beautiful, what do you want them to say about your style? Karen, what do you want them to say about your style? Like, what, Kristen, what do you want them to say about your style? Like, do you want to be, oh, Kristen she always looks X. Debbie always looks Y. What is that singular word that you want people to associate with your style? Because that's going to be a filter that you're going to use for your future purchases. And so the style archetypes really give you something to aspire to in your style. And let me tell you, we are all, in spite of all the influencing that's happening out there and all the style images that are thrown out there right now at us, because there's way too much of that, we are all like severely lacking in true inspiration. Like, we're not really getting inspired, we're getting sold to. And there's a big difference. And this is why I shared earlier why I did not share myself wearing outfits for a really, really long time, because I didn't want to try to sell something. I want you guys to look like yourselves. And I want you to pick clothes that speak to you and to feel like you. So you want that inspiration that an archetype can give you. And tomorrow I'm going to have an individual guide for each of it's like a 10 to 15 page like guide for each of the different types. And it's going to give you a lot of resources and a lot of help, so you can start looking at who else is dressing the way who can you get inspired by? What stores can you go to shop for your style? You had like one of each letter, Karen. Okay, I love that. So we're going to pull an adjective from each of those types, and we're going to come up with a combination type for you. There are combination types in the workbook if you didn't see them, because many of you are going to be combination types. So really, like, finding a brand, a person, an image that becomes your focal point can really, really, really help. If you know what you want to look like, all of your attention is going to be focused on that. If you have no idea what you're looking like, what you want to look like, or what your style goals are, you're going to buy all sorts of stuff and not wear most of it. And I think that's where many women fall short. Archetype. Thank you, Louise. Okay, archetype. That's how I'm going to try to say it that way from now on. So I'm going to give you an example. My daughter really likes Lana Del Rey. Lana Del Rey's music and her style. And she has this whole very feminine, that they call it the coquette style, which a lot of the girls are into that are, you know, in their teens and early 20s now. So it's all about bows and little pleated skirts. And, you know, it's just this whole aesthetic. Her style has never been more focused because she found a style inspiration that helps her focus her style goals. We all need that brand, that person. So I really want you to dive into those workbooks tomorrow for the individual style types and find something that's going to help you focus your style. This isn't about copying because you're not going to recreate exact outfits, but it is about getting inspired by that aesthetic. Now, at the end of the day, why are we doing this? Is it just for fun? Well, yes. But that's not the only reason. The reason is I want you to be better at choosing clothes that you're going to wear and love. I want you to be better choosing clothes that you're going to wear and love. And I've heard from so many of you over and over and over again that you buy clothes and you think they're okay at the store or you think they fit you and you bring them home and you don't end up reaching for them and you don't end up wearing them. And so the missing link between buying clothes that check the physical boxes, they fit, they are the right color, they whatever, and buying clothes that you'll actually wear is that sometimes you will put on the clothes that fit you and check all the boxes for you, and you will feel off in them. You will feel like you are not yourself in them. You'll feel like you're wearing someone else's clothes. You'll feel like you're wearing a costume, or you'll feel like you're wearing a uniform. When I first graduated from college, I think it was the law back then that you had to buy a boring navy suit for interviews. And even though I was going into the fashion industry and I was interviewing at fashion magazines in South Beach, right at the start of South Beach, this was like 92, 93, like South Beach was just starting to take off. So even though that was the workplace and that was the industry that I was in, I was like, well, it's the law. I have to have a navy suit. So I went to Ann Taylor because again, it was a law that you had to get it at Ann Taylor. I don't think there was any other place. And then, and I bought a navy suit and it was the full early 90s glory of the navy suit. It had the shoulder pads, it was double breasted. It created this silhouette like this, you know, because late 80s, early 90s, very closely related, right? The slim skirt, the boxy jacket. Of course, I had to get navy pumps and nude pantyhose because again, that was the law. That's what you had to wear to, I mean, and I had to try to get my poofy hair to not be so poofy. So I had my hair blown out. In those pictures, I looked older than I do now. I had the bangs that where you put the curling iron in and you took it out and you had, yeah. I had that. And then I set my hair in huge rollers to try to straighten it. And then when I took the curls out, I didn't brush it out completely because I didn't want it to get frizzy. So I literally looked like I had like middle-aged anchor woman in the 80s hair. That is what I had. And then I had the navy suit, right? And then I had my stick skinny legs and the navy pumps. It was just a hot mess. When I look at those, I kind of cringe for myself because it was not a cute look. I felt so awkward and so awful in that suit. If I could have found a suit that felt like me, you know, like a suit that fit me and suited me and, you know, spoke a little bit to my personal style and still was appropriate for interviews, that would have been one thing. But this suit made me feel so awkward. I felt like I couldn't speak. I was like, you know, like I just walking in like a completely different person. Here I am walking into magazines where everybody is like edgy and wearing black leather and whatever. And there I am in the navy suit that I thought I had to have for interviews. It's just so awkward. This is the feeling when you are wearing something that feels like a costume. I was playing the role of the interviewer or interviewee and wearing the costume of that role. And it felt really, really off on me. Many of you go out every day. That's an extreme example, but feeling like your clothes do not represent who you are at all and do not feel like they belong on you. And that is a confidence killer. What if okay, ooh, you will never look like that in that outfit. I'm going to speak to that, Kristen. That's a really good point and something that comes up a lot I think for all of us. So feeling like yourself in your clothes is the missing link. I talk about body type, and I'm going to talk about it in a second. I talk about color, all very, very important. But there are physical boxes, and then there are the other boxes that we don't talk about that are equally important. A long time ago, one quick story, I had to do a very quick capsule wardrobe for someone, and they just gave me, this was a style class I was taking, and I was like 22, 23. They gave me the description of the person, but nothing but her physical characteristics. And I had to do like a capsule wardrobe for her. So I made the whole capsule wardrobe like black and white and minimal, because what else is a capsule wardrobe? And this, when I met this person, she looked like a rock star. Like literally, she had very edgy rocker style. She had blue hair, like it was completely wrong. So if you're just going to look at your physical characteristics to pick things, you can be really, really off the mark. So interviewing Vogue in the late 70s. Yeah. Nothing is more humbling than walking it. I used to walk into the Condé Nast building, and I used to sit at Fashion Week with the Vogue editors, and they were always like, we would be wearing, like secondhand designer pieces, and they were all wearing something that Chanel had personally given, not Chanel, but a designer had personally given them. It was a totally different world. Okay, so this is a really good question, Kirsten, and I want to address what do you do if your body and your outfit inspiration don't align? You need to find outfit inspiration that aligns with you. So this is why I'm telling you not to look at people, but to look at the items, the objects, the brands, and get inspired by the design, the aesthetic, the artistic element of it, and not look at a person and try to emulate the outfit on the person. Because I have been there, we've all been there. I am 5'2", and anytime I put on an outfit that is, modeled so beautifully on a 5'10" woman, usually something really flowy that I wish I could wear, I put it on and I look like a mushroom or a cupcake, and I take it off and I'm like, well, why did I? So we've all been there. So you need to go for the aesthetic and not go for the specifics of that outfit on that person. So finding an aesthetic that speaks to you is so important. Okay, I'm getting very distracted by a very cute pet over there. That's adorable. So you deserve to wear what you love. And that is true whether you are doing nothing and you're sitting at home, or whether you're going to a really important event. I want your at-home clothes. You can take it so far as to think that every single and truly the most stylish women in the world, everything that they choose represents their style. I'm going to give you an example. Random example that I just pulled up on my desk. This is a makeup brush. Do you think I picked this makeup brush because it's the best brand of makeup brushes in the world? No, it's a good brand of makeup brushes. It's Smashbox. But why did I pick this specific brand makeup brush? Any guesses? It's because it's my favorite color. It's my signature color. And so you can look at everything in your life and the things that you surround yourself with through that lens. And when you look around your home represents you. Unless someone else decorated it for you, your home represents you. It represents your style to an extent. Your wardrobe should represent you, and it should feel like an extension of yourself. Okay, so I'm going to break this down for you a little bit. I want you to find something that is going to inspire you. And then earlier today, we talked about, I want you to find 5 layering pieces, 5 jackets that are your layering pieces. Now, on the video on Friday, I said we all need trench coats, we all need a dressy jacket, we all need a casual jacket, we all need a leather jacket, we all need a cardigan, right? I want you to find your version of roughly those categories. If Sarah was to buy a leather jacket or a cardigan, what would Sarah's leather jacket and cardigan look like? If Karen was to buy one, what would Karen's look like? I want you to find one that really speaks to your style. You may already have it in your closet, or you may not have given yourself permission yet to buy that item because you feel like you were so busy checking basics boxes that someone else, including me, told you needed. right? I want you to always take those lists and filter them through your style archetype. I said it, Louise. So, so that's the missing piece. After it fits you, and after it checks the color box, the missing pieces that you're going to feel like yourself in it. Now, there are two types of pieces that everybody needs in their wardrobe, regardless of your style archetype. It's the statement piece and the connector piece. We're talking about staples and statements, right? Almost every personal style is going to require a little bit of both. We're all going to require some staple pieces in our wardrobe and some statement pieces in our wardrobe. Now, if you have exuberant, lively personal style like I do, your wardrobe might be way more statements and way fewer staples. If you've got classic or traditional personal style, you probably have a lot of staples and you may have a couple of statements. You want to ask yourself, in a given outfit, do you want a statement plus statement plus statement outfit? Do you want a statement plus staple outfit? Or do you want a staple plus staple and maybe just a tiny bit of statement outfit? Like, what is that breakdown for you? We talked about this in terms of neutral but color. Some people like to wear all neutrals. Some people like to wear all color. Some people like to wear a combination. Where are you on the staples versus statements? The simple pieces versus interesting pieces? Who here feels like they can do head to toe statement pieces? Just me? Just me? Anybody else going to go all in on a statement plus statement? Okay. Who is a statement plus staple person? Like, I'll put a little fun piece in there, but otherwise I'm going to keep it simple. Okay. And then who else wants to keep the entire, yeah, you too, Sarah. Okay. Who else wants to keep the entire outfit staple? Like you've got more minimal style. You want everything to be pretty subtle. So going to go back to, there are people who like to go to an event and blend in at the event, not in a way that they're not stylish, but in a way that they feel like they're appropriately dressed. And then there are other people that are going to want to go to an event and have people notice their outfits. Staple with a fun piece, staple with a very occasional statement. Very good. Staple, mostly little statements. Staple, staple, statement. That's awesome. And your statement is going to look different than someone else's statement, right? I remember somebody telling me I found them a pair of dark green shoes and they're like, ooh, that's kind of bold for me because it was a colored shoe. And I was like, well, for me, a colored shoe is red and studded and sparkly and heeled and patterned. And, it's got like way, way bolder than them. So your idea of a statement is, again, a hallmark of your style archetype. Staple with a twist. Awesome. Staples with an accent of sparkle or color. I love that. Staples with one or two focus or statement pieces. Perfect. I think that is the breakdown that many women feel like they have. They want an outfit that overall is pretty simple, and then they've got like a pop or something interesting in it. So you want to ask yourself, does your wardrobe have the statement pieces that speak to your personal style? So that's going to be the next assignment that I'm making up on the fly. We talked about the 5 jackets, right? We talked about the 5 completer pieces. When you think about your style archetype, and if you've done it already, I want you to tell me what your style archetype is here in the comments, because we're going to brainstorm a couple of statement pieces for the different types of style. If you, for example, have a classic or traditional style, what is something that speaks to your classic style? I told the ladies in my style program this recently, my daughter, who very much likes like old money kind of classic style and wears pretty much mostly beige, even though it's not her best color. When she thought of that style aesthetic, the one thing she really wanted was the Ralph Lauren flag sweater. That was a statement piece for her that really spoke to her personal style. It's just it's an iconic sweater. They've had it for years. It's a Ralph Lauren sweater. It's got an American flag on the front of it. That's what she wanted as her statement piece in her wardrobe. So there's a statement piece that's linked to every style archetype, or a couple of statement pieces that are linked to them. And if you find that and you bring that into your normal outfits, you're going to take all of your normal minimalist or staple outfits, add that personal style piece, and it's going to become a Leela outfit, or a Kristen outfit, a Nancy outfit, right? Okay, ladylike. So if you're looking at ladylike as an archetype, then what says ladylike to you? Is it, I mean, I can think of something and it might be very different than what you would think of, Jody, but like, I would think, what's ladylike? Pearls or pumps or a silk blouse? A classic lady jacket? A feminine dress? Like what, you know, because you can go ladylike and go classic, or you can go ladylike and go a little bit more romantic and feminine, you know? So you want to ask yourself, what are the pieces that are the hallmark of my personal style? And I want you to make a list of 5 things that if you brought them into your closet right now, 5 accessories, if you brought them into your closet right now, would absolutely transform your wardrobe and make it look like you. I mean, if you feel like you've got really boho style, for example, maybe it's a fringed bag and an embroidered belt and a floppy suede hat. I'm just throwing things out there. It's going to be different for every one of you. But what are 5 things that you could bring into your closet that are really going to be like, oh my goodness, this is so me. This feels like me. Those are the pieces that we want to look for. So I also want you to go into your wardrobe, and I want you to identify pieces that you currently own that align with your style archetype. And I would love for you to share that in a group. So if you're saying, okay, my style, you love feminine dresses and a bit of lace, but it doesn't suit your lifestyle. Okay, we're going to talk about that, Felicity. It's a really good point. But I want you to find a couple of things that are in your closet and I want you to say, okay, out of everything in my closet, this is the item that represents me the best, represents my personal style the best. I can tell you I've got a couple of pieces like that. I've got a Farm Rio dress that if I wanted someone to understand my style without saying a word, I would be like, look at this dress. And they'd be like, okay, we got it. That's all we need to know. And it would sum up my style. So you want a couple of pieces like that. Hopefully you have 1 or 2 things in your closet that feel that way. And if not, that's something that we're going to be adding. Now, you had so much variety. Okay, Michelle. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull the adjectives, and Karen said the same thing. You're going to pull the adjectives from the questions that you answered. And you're going to use those to create your own blend. And I can help you with that. So go ahead and you can list what you, like if your adjectives were like feminine, edgy, quirky, and cool, well, that's going to be your archetype. You've come up, archetype. You're going to come up with your own, right? So, I'm very eclectic, and I will tell you that I'm a combination of archetypes. Exuberant, lively, with a little bit of romantic, with a little bit, so like we're all going to be a combination, but you're going to find the pieces from those and you're going to put them together. And this is a process, but we're going to explore the process this week and we're going to have fun with it. And you're going to look at it as a scavenger hunt. You're going to go on a scavenger hunt in your wardrobe. And then tomorrow you're going to go on a scavenger hunt on the internet and find things that really, really feel like you. And when you have a collection of things that feel like you, Michelle, Karen, those of you who feel like you have very eclectic style, I want you to share that collection of images with me. And we're going to come up with a couple of words for you, because there's going to be a unifying theme through your pieces that you may not see, but that I will. And that's true for all of you. If you feel like you're all over the place, you're not as all over the place as you think. There's usually going to be a common thread. Mine is that everything I like is feminine. I've said that before. So it can be feminine and quirky. It can be feminine and romantic, but it's always going to have that thread running through it of looking feminine. Okay, so funny. It says Netta Manley is talking at the top of the screen right now. I've never seen that before. I have no idea why it says that. Okay, so what if your style archetype doesn't suit your lifestyle? I love this. I love this because this is so many of us. The key is to take the staple pieces that you already have and add one style element to them. So if you take something that really, for example, you've got very feminine or ladylike style, you can do a really pretty silk blouse or feminine blouse, and you can do it with jeans, or you can do it with a more casual pair of pants. So it's taking something that suits your personal style and something that suits your lifestyle and putting them together. It's really the modern way to create outfits. You can almost always find a more casual version of the item that you love. So if you're challenged and you're like, well, the only items that I love are formal dresses, Maybe we can find a brocade top. Maybe we can find a beautiful beaded bag that you can carry every day. There are elements in your style that can work for your everyday life. I promise. And it's so important to find those pieces, because if you're watering down your style and watering down your wardrobe so that it's more casual, so that it suits your lifestyle, you're never going to be happy with the way you look. You're never going to be happy with the way you look. Truly. If you're like, I spend all of my days at home, but my style, Karen's giving a heart. It's so true. Because who doesn't live a more casual lifestyle than they want to dress? Most of us do. I should be in gowns daily. I like daily, I should always be in gowns and long dangly sparkly earrings and then some kind of like dramatic wrap. Like that should be my life. It is not my life. So I am finding a way to infuse the elements, the glamour that I love in clothes into my everyday wardrobe through color, through fabric, through shape, through accessories. There's always a way to take whatever it is. You've got romantic style, do a lace blouse with your jeans. You've got, I mean, this is the most basic formula, You've got eclectic style, do it like a really fun wild print with your jeans. You have classic style, do a classic blouse with your, like, there's a way to find, and if jeans are not part of your aesthetic, then you can find a version of a casual bottom that is. So there's a way to have it all, and I want us to have it all, because what I think would be really, really sad is if the rest of our lives, we spent the rest of our lives in Garanimals for grown-ups, the pull-on pants and bright colors with the matching shirt that has little embroidery on the front that looks exactly like a toddler outfit, but it's in an adult size. You know what I'm talking about? Those are horrible, and we could spend the rest of our lives in those outfits if we're not careful, and really give up on feeling cute. And when you give up on feeling and looking cute and looking like yourself and looking like the way that you want to look, you stop doing things and you stop going places and you stop feeling as positive. And I've seen it again and again and again and again. This is so important. It is so important that I don't care if you're the most overdressed person in the room. I don't care if you're the most overdressed person in your town. I don't care if you go to a restaurant and you're the only person dressed. Or you go to church and you're the only person dressed. You don't know who's watching you and who you might be inspiring. Maybe there's someone else who has some pretty dresses hanging in her closet that she's not wearing. And she sees you show up to the friend event that everybody else is wearing jeans at, and you're wearing something pretty, and she's more motivated to pull out her beautiful things and start wearing them. Louise said, I found blazers for every type of occasion. Yes, yes. There's a version of whatever you're looking. I do flowy dresses a lot because flowy dresses feel like me. And they're a way to bring my personal style into my everyday outfits. Louise does that with blazers. What item that's so iconic to your style, that's such a part of your style, do you need to find a way to work into your regular wardrobe? I promise you it is worth it. And when I tell you, people are going to say far less negative things than you think they will if you go out a little bit overdressed. Instead, you're going to get more positive remarks than you expect. I think I've told you guys, I had to go to Publix at 10 o'clock at night to buy gingerbread house kits for all the kids in the family to make gingerbread. They were doing a gingerbread house decorating contest. I was wearing a hot pink suit, as I do on a typical Tuesday night. And I, walked into Publix wearing my hot pink suit. And I remember there was a much, much older man. He seriously must have been 95. I mean, much older. And he was like, well, you look like a breath of fresh air. And I was like, thank you. Like, and he just smiled and he was like happy to see someone wearing something that was not leggings or flip-flops at Publix. Like, wear your clothes, lean into that style persona that we're working on creating this week. And if you don't know where it is yet, or you feel like you're a mix, or you feel like you're nowhere near finding it, have fun finding it this week. And I'm here to help you. Share some pictures. And, Jody, you can share like 6 or 7. I'm just pointing you out because you're straight in front of me and you're beautiful. But like, you point out some pictures of, things that you like and say, Netta, what do you think of this? And we'll come up with a style archetype for you. We'll come up with your own name for you. But use the guides that I've created to help you navigate your way to where you want to dress and what you want to look like at 50, 55, 60, 65, wherever you're at. You are never too old or too young to be leaning into this and to be really doing this work. Yes, Facebook, please, Michelle. That would be amazing because I think it's really helpful for everybody to see, okay, these are Michelle's images and I like some of these. And what are the words we're using to describe these? At the end of the week, you're going to have a collection of pieces that you can bring into your wardrobe that are going to make you feel most like you and that you're going to love, 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 love wearing, and that you're going to add to your everyday outfits, maybe a little at a time, build up your confidence. You're going to add to your everyday outfits and you're going to start feeling like you're dressing more and more and more like yourself. And then you're going to have a collection of words that you can use that are filters. We need to stop using the over 50 or over 40 or over 30 or over 60, whatever filter that we're using. That should not be our filter. Let's just dismiss that filter. It has now exited the building. You're going to be using the filter of your personal style. And so this is just, archetypes are just a fun and fancy way of exploring your personal style. You don't have to fit neatly into any of the boxes, but you do want to find things in those styles that resonate with you and you want to identify what those things are. You struggle with your fall, winter to feel cute. Okay, that's interesting because I think a lot of people say that the same. So that says something about your style. That says something about your style. So the fact that fall, winter clothes are not something you're leaning towards makes me think that you've got one of the style aesthetics that has, maybe it's the romantic or the relaxed or, you know, natural or whatever, that leans more toward, because there are some style aesthetics that lean, like classic, I picture fall, winter. Whereas romantic, I picture spring, you know, so that might be a clue to your aesthetic and your style archetype. And we can do some diving in to figure out what that looks like for you. Okay, so homework. I gave you guys your homework. I'm going to repeat it. You want to take the quiz. If you haven't taken the quiz, tomorrow you'll have access to the workbooks that are the guide to each of the archetypes. And I just want you to use those to get inspired by, to find inspiration that's going to guide you in your own personal style. I want you to comment on the post that I did with your archetype when you figure it out, or if it's a combination of things, just put combination of, you know, put the different types that you're looking at. Identify the pieces in your wardrobe that most align with your style type. Start with accessories. Do you have a shoe? Do you have a bag? Do you have a pair of earrings that you're like, this is such a me earring. I love this earring. I like these glasses. I mean, if you've ever seen a pair of glasses that are more netta, look, they've even got hot pink and black on the side, right? Like those are such me glasses. You want pieces that everyone's like, yeah, that's so you. That's so you. Come up with your blend of archetypes and then start describing yourself that way. I called the women in my style program. I'm like, well, since you're the femme fatale, since you're the, you know, the Jackie O types, you name yourself and step into that. This is what we get to do. This is what we get to be as women. We get to decide, how do I want to show up? How do I feel the most beautiful? And what's an expression of my unique personality and my unique aesthetic? And step into that, because trust me, people around you are watching you and you're going to inspire them. I see Nancy and her beautiful friend there. Yes, you're going to inspire them. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys saw Nancy's outfits that she shared, but they were very inspiring. I loved them. And I want to see more outfits that you guys sharing, because you're going to see things in each other. Not everybody, I know it's shocking, but not everybody wants to look just like me. And the goal is not for you each to follow my style aesthetic, right? I want you to find yours, and you're going to recognize things in each other. You're going to see women who look a little bit like you, who have similar coloring to you, have similar body types to you. It's very, very inspiring to everyone else to see what you, and I know, like I'm looking at several of you, and I've seen several of you posting outfits, and I think that that's fabulous, because that's how we're going to learn from each other. So I love you guys. This was awesome. Thank you so much for hanging with me after I was rudely kicked off my Zoom call earlier today. Tomorrow, don't forget, noon, same place, same time. It's the same link. You can just click on the same link for Zoom, just save the link and click on it. I will also send it out in the group chat before. I'll send it out in the email. I'll put it as many places as I can. You can always reach out to me for it as well. And let's, yay, love you too. Thank you, thank you. You like the red? No, it's no problem. I'm so excited to talk to you guys. And I was so bummed. I'm so bummed that it was cut short earlier. No, it's just going to be 2 classes today because it was cut short earlier. The others are just going to be 1, but there's a recording for each class. So if you miss it, just definitely watch the recording. And if you can make it live, I'd love to see you guys. Okay, thank you for joining me. Love you guys. Have a great evening. I will see you later. I'll see you tomorrow at noon. Don't forget to do your homework or the teacher will be mad.